I know what you're thinking. You're watching these videos and you're saying to yourself, maybe this is for me. But here's the thing, my plate, it's full. I don't have time for one more thing. How many of you are thinking that? Yeah, I know you are because I was there. I was thinking to myself when I first started this, like, this would be fun, but I don't have the time. I don't. As I told you before, I was a full-time teacher. I was taking grad classes. I had a 2-year-old at home, and my husband was working really long hours. The thought of adding a side gig to my plate was like, absolutely not. But I found that I loved it, and it was fulfilling something that I was missing in my life, and it was giving me the chance to help other people. So because it was my passion, I found a way to make it work for me. So I'm going to share with you 3 different ways that I've made the business work at 3 different phases of my life. And the first is when I built my business after bedtime. You guys know that I had a full-time teaching job. Teachers don't have time to play on social media during the day. So that meant that from 8 a.m. to basically like 4 p.m., I was off the clock. I couldn't be a Beachbody coach. I couldn't post on social media. I couldn't send invites. I couldn't do follow-ups. I couldn't work my business because I was already contracted. My time was contracted to be working as a teacher. So here's how I did it. Here's how I built my business when I was working full-time. I'll just walk you through the day. I would get up very early to get my workout in because I wanted to be able to have the evenings to work the business. So I would get up, I would set my alarm for like 4:45, and I would start working out by 5 a.m. And I know some of you are thinking, oh gosh, that sounds terrible. It really was terrible for like the first month until I got the hang of it. And then I grew to love the peace and quiet of my 5 a.m. workouts. I would work out from 5 to 5:30 in the morning. From 5:30 in the morning to 6 in the morning, I would work my business. So I had a half an hour in the morning to work. And that's as long as I didn't hit snooze. From 6 to 7, I would get ready for the day. I would shower, I'd put my hair and makeup on, I'd put my work clothes on, I'd get the baby ready for daycare, and by 7, I had to be out the door. I'd drop him off at daycare, I'd get to work, I would work my teaching job from 8 to 4. 3:16 to be precise, but by the time I got my son, it was 4. I blocked out the time from when I picked him up to when he went to bed because I only got to see him for a few hours every single day. So I needed that time to be devoted to him. I needed to be able to make dinner. I needed to be in charge of bath time, bedtime. I wanted to be a present mom. So I certainly didn't want to work a business during that time, so I didn't. So what I did is I would put him to bed and make sure that he was down by 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night. Once he would go down, I would retreat to my office. It was my guest bedroom at the time. I would retreat to my office and I would work. And I would put my head down and I would focus and I worked because I knew that what I was building was going to create freedom in the future. So I knew that I had to make some short-term sacrifices. So I knew that for a few years, I was going to be really tired. I was going to be uncomfortable. I was going to have to miss out on sitting and watching Netflix. I wasn't going to be able to go and drink wine with my neighbor when we felt like there were times when I'd say no to sitting out on the patio when the kids were sleeping to drink wine. Like sometimes I just said, no, I have goals. I can't right now. So I said no to a lot of things, but I was able to build that business very much part-time to get me to where I could be to the point where I could say, it's time to step away from my full-time job and do this. But as I said, I built it after bedtime and a small, tiny bit in the mornings. On the weekends, I would hustle. I would write blog posts. I would plan calls. I would plan content. So there were days, like I would say for me, it was my Sunday, where on Sundays, I would work probably 4 or 5 hours so that I could be prepared for the upcoming week. So that's what the business looked like when I was working full time. Then, I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. I'm trying to get on my years. I've been coaching forever. It was last year. Whenever I was pregnant, I was home and I was building my business from home, meaning that I got to stay home. And there were days when no one else was home with me, and it was kind of cool. I took my son from daycare. He was originally going to preschool. As I said, he was in daycare since he was 8 months old, and he went religiously full time. He was a 7 to 4 kiddo, and I pulled him and I said, you know what? I want to continue to keep him at school because I wanted him to be ready for kindergarten, but I wanted time with him. I wanted to get back those days that I lost. So I kept my son part-time at school. He went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and he went the full day. And on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I sat in my office and I built my business and I worked from 8 to 4. And that's all I did. I took a lunch break, but I worked from home, but really I never left my office. So I was very much a full-time coach last year. Once the baby came, so I will say that I kept some time. So I told you 8 to 4 were my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and I would still work in the evenings, occasionally like late at night whenever my son went to bed, and then I still would work Sunday nights. I tried to take off Saturdays and Fridays. Fridays were my day where we just did fun stuff with Carter. So that was what it looked like when I was a true full-time coach. And let me just tell you, I don't think I realized how easy I had it then, and I would kill for one of those days just for productivity right now. And so now, if you're following me on social media now, you know that I hate to say this, but it's kind of like a shit show right now because I'm balancing having a 5-year-old who's in part-time kindergarten, so he's only PM. So he's at school from 12:45 to 3:20, which is really not very long, especially by the time you get him there and you get home. So right now, I'm balancing the fact that he's in school and I'm home with an 8-month-old who she takes about 2 naps a day. And so that's like 2 hours during the day that I might have to myself. But for the most part, that's when I'm, getting my son from school or trying to do the laundry or whatnot. So I have these little teeny tiny pockets of time, but then I have the time after they go to bed. And I'm almost back to square one where I'm building the business after bedtime when everybody's sleeping. So for example, right now I'm making these videos for you guys. Do you know what time it is? It's 12:06 a.m. And the only reason why I'm doing it now is because it's the only time when the house is completely quiet. It's my time. I actually really enjoy it. But the business doesn't have to be built this way. You get to decide how much time you want to put into it, when you want to work your business, when it's convenient for you. And what I do as your mentor is I meet you where you are. If you want to run and you want to do this like how I used to be doing it every day from 8 to 4, my gosh, I'm happy to train you and teach you. And I say hats off to you. But I also am really able to teach you how to do this business with doing it just an hour or 2 a day. And I truly believe you can have success that way because that's how I got to where I am right now. So I just love that it allows me to still be a full-time mom, still be present with my kids, and doesn't mean that I've missed out on a little bit of sleep. Yes, it does, but isn't that what motherhood's all about anyways? I swear you're just exhausted for the first 10 years of their life. So anyways, that's how I built the business. That's just, I would encourage you to look at your day and look at your schedule and say, okay, where do I have a couple cracks of time where I could slide in a business? A half an hour here, a half an hour there. Where do you see that fitting into your lifestyle? Do you see it fitting into your life? Maybe it doesn't work for you, but for some of you, you might be saying, okay, maybe you're a brand new mom and you're breastfeeding and you're like, okay, I've got 20 minutes in the chair, like 5 times a day or 10 times a day or however often your child is nursing. That's time where you could be working your business from your phone. So what do you need? You need ambition. You don't have to have a computer, but it helps. Having a computer helps, but really, this is my business. This is my most powerful tool is my cell phone. And this is where I do all my work from. My pictures come from my cell phone, my posts are on my phone, my videos are on my phone. This is my business. So if you have one of these, which I think most of you do, you have what it takes to make it as a successful lifestyle coach. All right, I hope that was helpful, and I hope that got your brain thinking about how you could make it work for yourself.